Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episodes of Sounds of the Diaspora, Artist to Artist, a conversation with yours truly, Dion Parson. It's really an honor and a pleasure to have our guests here joining me tonight. I'll announce their name in a few, but she's amazing vocalist. I got to know her over the last couple of months, and she's very, very talented, engaging, and she will be sharing her story with you guys in a minute. Please join me in welcoming vocalist, composer, actor, and educator, the one and only Miss Abena Koomson-Davis.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for agreeing to be on the show. I know you're super busy and have a lot going on, but it's really good to finally get you on the show. We've been talking for a while, and I'm excited because I want the audience to hear your story, because you have a really beautiful and unique story, and you have some great stuff going on about the sounds of the diaspora, connecting, your cultural heritage from Africa, growing up in the U.S. and things. So, share with our audience, a little bit about your background.
Yeah, as a kid, I thought a lot about this word African American, right? It was a word that became very popular in the 80s as I was growing up. And I felt really proud to be able to embrace both of those things. So my parents were born and raised in Ghana, West Africa, both of them from near Cape Coast. A lot of people know Cape Coast because of the history of the people who were forcibly removed and brought to this country from that area, and the door of no return and what have you. But when I think of Cape Coast, I think of my grandmother's village, and I think of what it means to be by the water and what it means to see fishermen going out and bringing back the fish that we're going to eat when my aunts prepare it for us. So I feel like I had a very rich upbringing in terms of being connected to the mother continent. And then I also had this experience of growing up in the United States. And the first thing I remember getting as a kid for a birthday present was a dictionary. And I was so fascinated with words, just always looking through it. And my dad gave me a typewriter for my 10th birthday, So I think they also instilled in me this sense that words in any language are really important. And even though I didn't, continue speaking my parents' tongue through my education, I think a lot of teachers sort of miseducated my parents and said, if she doesn't only speak English, then she's not going to get she's not going to get the language right, and not really understanding the multilingual capacity for children. But I still hear, Fanti is, Mfansi. I still hear Fanti when my parents speak and understand it. And so always walking that line of the dash, right? The African and the American has been a part of why I've become the person that I've become. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So besides English, I know you said Fanti, but do you speak any other languages?
I can get around some Spanish. The last time I went to Spain, and actually my first trip to Mexico, I told myself, don't speak any English. And I did a pretty good job, getting around. So I could definitely make my way around some Spanish.
Okay. That's beautiful. Yeah. So did you grow up in a musical household?
In my estimation, every Ghanaian household is a musical household because it's just a part of the culture. It's just what we do. My mom, if she's doing the laundry and the clothes are going in the dryer, she's humming along. Mom, what are you doing? Are you singing with the laundry? You know, so I just think making sounds and making beats and making rhythms is just a way of life, a way of interpreting what's going on around you. You know, your name doesn't just get said, it gets sung. Abba, you know. Okay, that version of my name means I need to come upstairs because I did something wrong. So in that sense, yeah, a very musical household where the music was telling you something about like where you needed to be and who you needed to be when, which it was surprising to me when I entered some of my friends' households and it was like, that's not what's happening at your house.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
hate it.
your mama don't sing your name. Okay.
Right, exactly.
You know, how do you know if you're in trouble or not?
Right.
So yeah, in that sense, but they didn't have any formal training as we think of formal training in this country. Though my dad would be known to like pick up the dondo, which is the talking drum, the one that you know put under the arm and play with the stick, and he would just randomly pick it up and start playing beats. So clearly they grew up in an environment where rhythm and music was all around them and a form of communication that was as vital as speaking. So I got that from them, even though I chose to go in a much more formal direction. I think they carry that with them too.
Okay. So how early did you realize that, being a vocalist was, your calling?
You know, I didn't really call it being a vocalist until well into college,
Okay.
even though I'd been doing it the whole time. I
Mhm.
just knew that singing was something that brought me joy and that I had a right to do it. So I did it whether people were listening or not. And sometimes people didn't want to listen, especially early on, because I don't know, I hadn't quite found my sound yet. But I was the kid who was always singing along with the radio and knew all the words before the end of the song. I played a lot of instruments. You know, I played clarinet, I played trumpet, euphonium, trombone, like all through middle school and high school. So I was obsessed with sounds.
Mhm.
I think the singing part really hit me when I got to college because I found that it was a way to comfort myself.
Okay.
So I experienced in college, I experienced a lot of sadness, you know, sort of feeling alone at times. I think I was wrestling with the racism and the reckoning that was happening in this country. The year that I went to college was also the same year of the Rodney King incident.
Mm.
And you know, I was singing with our school chorus, and we got a lot of like solidarity and community. And I learned that singing was a a, a resource,
Mhm.
right? A place to put the emotions. And so I think as I became a more mature emotional being, I needed singing even more than I ever did. Uh,
Mhm.
and it just brought me a lot of joy. And so I was like, you know, this is something that I like to do and I want to do, and I'm going to do it as much as I can.
I find that to be really interesting because I was having this conversation with someone this weekend,
Mhm.
and a lot of musicians will say, "Well, it's my job. This is what I do. I play and I make a living. I support my family." And
Yeah.
but there's another side to it that being a musician doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what instrument. I feel it's rejuvenating for your soul.
Yeah.
It's something that you can reflect on and say, "Hey, you get on the bandstand and you have to propel and you have to project and you have to entertain, but during that process, you get rejuvenation as well.
Yeah.
So it's a dual service that you're doing. One for yourself and one for the audience.
Yeah. I mean, I think of two things when you say that. The first thing I think of is that you know, that saying from the Bible, it says love your neighbor as yourself.
Hmm.
I think that's also musical, right? Like you're sharing something that you're also giving to yourself, and you have to know how to give it to yourself in order to share it with others. You have to have an understanding of it. You have to have investigated it before you can even
Hmm.
put it out there. And The second thing it makes me think of is that recently I led a workshop at the Omega Institute. It's a retreat center in upstate New York. And my workshop was about lullabies, and the idea of singing to soothe.
Okay.
And I've really been investigating this question, what is the function of lullabies in every culture? Every culture has them,
Right. Right.
these songs that you sing to soothe children. And my
Mhm.
follow-up question became, when did we stop singing them to people? Why do only kids need soothing? What do we do to like soothe ourselves? What happens when an adult needs to be soothed, So that's something I've been thinking a lot about. What happens when music actually does the work of healing us emotionally?
Right. And there's something to be said about just presenting something that's just beautiful and pretty and like you mentioned, healing. Because
Mhm.
there's so much other type of energy in the world and in the music.
Ooh.
You put on pop music and it's a whole nother type of energy. And
Yeah.
to me, I feel like sometimes we get desensitized to our natural emotions and stuff based
Mhm.
on what we're being subjected to. So it's really good to reflect on that.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what you do with the lullaby project because I know it's coming.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, lullabies, ballads. So, for those of you who are listening, I'm married to an incredible musician and jazz trombonist, Steve Davis, and he's, among many things. I mean, he's a hard bop man from
Mhm.
front to back, top to bottom, but he's also a balladeer, and
Right.
it's one of the things I love about him is that contrast of,
Mhm.
being able to play the changes and get all inside of them, but also knowing how to very clearly, succinctly sort of tap into that natural sense that a
Mhm.
ballad brings to us, like at the speed of like the heartbeat
Oh
of
yeah.
music that moves us. Yeah.
It reminds me of similar situation with John Coltrane.
Mm.
I'm a huge fan of John Coltrane. As much as I've listened to all of his, Giant Steps and Impressions and all of those albums, you know, Coltrane ballads is like still my favorite. I love all of them, but that's the one I put on when I get home and I just want to relax and like, yeah,
Yeah.
and it just a lullaby, we was talking about,
Yeah.
it soothes the savage beast. It
Mm.
just kind of just makes you just, it melts you down in
Yeah.
yeah. So that's why I say I know that lullaby project is coming. So we're going to be looking forward to
Excellent.
it. So speaking of project, you've participated in a number of really amazing projects. One of them, which outside of the music, as an actor, you did a stint on Broadway for a
I
minute.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's funny how it began. So, I used to go to these parties, these jump and funk parties. And there were these parties where people were playing Fela music all night long and dancing to Fela music all night long. And it was such a convergence of things that I love, right? Loving the West African beat that I grew up with. And then someone called me and said, "Hey, they're doing a music about Fela Kuti." And I was like, "What are you talking about? Who even knows who Fela is to put on a musical?" And it was being directed and choreographed by Bill T. Jones. So I auditioned for it and I had the opportunity to do it off Broadway. And then I had the opportunity to do the Broadway production as well. And in both productions, I played the role of Fela's mother. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and she was such a compelling, Fumulayo Anikulapu Kuti was such a compelling figure because she was a teacher. She was the first woman in Nigeria to drive a car. Tells you a little bit about, sort of her moxie and her energy, and perhaps where Fela got a lot of his drive from.
Mm.
And the play essentially tells the story of Fela having to make a decision as to whether to continue to resist against a government that is oppressing his people, oppressing the people, and do that with music at the risk of his own life.
Right.
And
Right.
so, the stakes are high. And if you listen to Fela's music, you hear the message over and over and over again, this resistance against oppression. So it
Hmm.
was a really powerful thing to bring to the Broadway stage.
Hmm.
I don't think anything like it has been done before or since. So I'm really proud to be a part of that legacy,
Hmm.
and to be part of a legacy that brought the African diaspora together,
Right.
because there's, Ghanaians and Cameroonians and people from Cote d'Ivoire and Liberia and Jamaica and Trinidad and Grenada and all of these people from the diaspora who are partaking in this amazing project. And I loved the way that we all brought these different facets of our culture and the ways that they all linked up. Even
Hmm.
just simple things like finding the same word, finding a different word for the same phenomenon, even down
Right.
to what you call the drums. So that was a really, really exciting project for me.
That's great. That's great. How long did that show run?
Yeah, it ran from so Off-Broadway it ran in 2008, and then when it went to Broadway it ran from November of 2000, or yeah, November of 2009 to January of 2011.
Okay.
And then we brought it to Nigeria.
How was that?
That was incredible. It was the
Okay.
best. Yeah, because we had the opportunity to perform for an audience who actually really understood the man and the message.
Mhm.
And I think we learned a lot in that performance. And it was also great just to hear the songs sung the way they were meant to be sung. So they sang through the whole musical. They could not be stopped. It was really, really beautiful.
That's great. That's just great experience.
Yeah.
Great experience. And speaking of, like, resistance and fellows music, you also participated in a project, the Resistance Rival Choir, in where you live. Share, can you share?
Yeah, so the Resistance Revival Chorus came together originally in 2017,
Hmm.
right out of the Women's March.
Okay.
And so a lot of participants in the Women's March were compelled by the music that they experienced as part of that movement. And really kind of came together, several of them came together and said, what if we put together a choir, a chorus that could really be that music in the streets and be that music in these places of resistance? Because what they noted, and what I agree with, is if your resistance is if it's only about the anger, if it's only about the pushing, if it's only about, um, the disruption, it can be easy to forget the joy that drives you to fight for what you believe,
Right.
right? Because underneath that anger is something that you really care about and something that you really love. How do we bring those things to the surface? Through music.
Mhm.
Um, and so since then, I've been in the role of musical director, and it's been a really powerful experience for me to bring people together around songs of resistance and songs of joy, um, really embodying both the revival and the resistance part of the Resistance Revival Chorus, which is a balance. And actually this year, for the first time, starting in February, I decided to take a sabbatical.
Mhm.
um, After 7 years of doing the work, I recognized that I wanted to dive a little deeper into some of the creative projects that I've been longing to do.
Okay.
And what I'm really thrilled about is, the chorus continues to do the good work, uh,
Mhm.
and continues to explore leadership in all kinds of ways. And co-leadership was something that was really important to me throughout that experience. And so it was never about like me doing a thing. It was always about, how can we do this thing together, and how can we co-lead, and how can we push this thing forward so that it stands where it needs to stand. So it's been a delight to both have, spent those 7 years really pushing the chorus forward, and also to take a moment to rest from it, but not from the work,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting. It sounds really exciting. You guys have one project out already, right?
Yeah. So in 2008, we recorded an album called This Joy. And I had the opportunity to write for it. We also invited some really incredible guests to perform with us. And there were also members of the chorus who wrote original music that we performed. So it was a really beautiful project where we got to sing with some of our heroes. We got to uplift people amongst us who were writing the new civil rights music, and also do some covers of some songs that have really been elemental to the movement.
Great. Well, continue success with that project, the Resistance Revival Choir.
Of course.
Choir, yeah. So continue success with that. And yeah, and you have some other projects going on, but we're going to jump into some of your music that you share with us, because that'll lead us through this whole, just guide us through your musical journey forward, which is some great stuff. You shared with us a song entitled "Easy" from your new debut album as a jazz vocalist.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so "Easy" is actually a song that was originally written by my hubby, Steve Davis. And, one of the things that I fell in love with when I fell in love with him was his writing. And so, I would just be humming these songs all over the house because they're so catchy. And I asked if for this album, if I could take, one or two of his songs and set words to them.
Okay.
And so you'll hear us performing this together with me singing the melody and then singing a counter melody that I wrote to be in conversation with the tune.
Okay. Well, let's check this out. From your debut album, Where Is Love? Let's check out "Easy."
Don't hurry the day, find your way, a step at a time, heart alive, easy come, easy go, easy stay, easy flow. Control. Find the things in life that soothe your soul. Mama told you that the road would be Don't hurry the day, find your way, a step at a time. Heart alive, easy come, easy go, easy stay, easy flow. Don't you worry about what you can't control. Try to sing the life that's truly your soul. Mama told you that the road would be rough, but gave you what you need to handle yourself. Easy sun, easy moon, easy rain, easy
Easy. Stevie D's Easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic jazz style. Reminds me of Ella and Sarah. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Love your vocal technique, emotional depth.
Hmm.
Mm. You display such a wide range of emotions. Bravo. There
I'm
you go.
hearing a theme.
Yeah. Beautiful. So who are the members of that ensemble?
Yeah. So obviously Steve Davis on trombone. The flugelhorn player that you heard is Josh Bruno. The alto sax player is Mike DeRubo. And our rhythm section, Rick Germanson on piano, Nat Reeves on bass, and Willie Jones III on drums, who also produced the album.
Okay. That's for his label, right? That's
Yeah, J3 Records.
yeah, that's what I thought. Who's the guitar player again?
And that's my stepson, Tony Davis, on guitar,
Tony.
sounding amazing.
Okay. Beautiful.
And he
Yeah.
was guest
It's
on
the
that.
song is like easy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, when you go into the studio, is you know, jazz musicians do things a little differently. You know, they go into the studio and they like knock it out in one day versus like pop musicians where they spend a week in the studio laying down tracks and stuff like that. This is all recorded live, right?
Yeah, which was a little bit of a shocker because it's like you said, in the pop world, you know, I mean, when I was a guest on Natalie Merchant's recent album, Keep Your Courage, you know, we had a day, like a couple of days to spend on just a couple of songs.
Right.
You know, and it was really quite glorious to be able to do that. But we weren't playing live. You know, the rhythm section had recorded, and we were laying tracks down, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that we were recording in the pandemic. But this, yeah, delightfully was live. What you saw in the video was what happened.
That was in the studio. Yeah. It's a different concept because, you know, I've over the years of recording myself, you know, different projects you do is you see how people, oh, we have 2 weeks in the studio. I'm like, for what? It's like to do the album. And I'm like, we can do it in 2 or 3 days, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a different concept. So I just wanted you to share that experience with our audience because
Yeah.
it's totally different in the jazz world.
It was great, you know, because it means that the responses are all happening in real time. And you can see the musicians, you know, handing off the solos to each other. You can see the interaction during the choruses. You can see what's happening improvisationally and how people are commenting on things that they're hearing and listening to. So that's a pretty exciting thing about jazz. And it's, it's like never the same way twice. Whereas sometimes with pop music, people really want it to be like, I need to hear it like the record.
Right. You hear the record and you go to the live concert and the solo is the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But hey, it's different genres, different.
Listen, that's okay. When I hear, Billy Joel, Just the Way You Are, I want to hear that saxophone solo just the way it was.
Exactly.
It's a part of the fabric, and that's fine.
Yeah. That's great, though. Beautiful song, easy. So the next song you shared with us is the title track, Where's Love?
Mm-hmm.
And you composed this song.
No, this is a song from the musical Oliver.
Oh, okay.
And it is a ballad. And it's a very, touching story of the orphan who is wishing and wanting for his mother. And so the story itself is about that specific longing. But for me, at the time when we did this, it felt like it captured a whole nother kind of longing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really asking that question, where is love? Mm-hmm. So much of what is being communicated, to us, and through social media and, on the news cycle, I feel like I'm asking that question, where is love, all the time?
Yeah.
And so that was really the motivation for choosing to title the album that and choosing to do this song. It's also a song that was really dear to Stevie and I. We both fell in love with the song at some point in our lives, and it was one of the ways that we connected. So it felt good to do it together.
Okay. Well, it seems fitting for the title track and fitting for the moment. Let's check it out. Where
Who can say where she may hide? Must I travel far and wide till I am beside the someone who I can mean something to? Where is love? Where is
Beautiful. So beautiful, we're about to play twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you evoke feelings of sadness, love, and longing. Okay.
Mm,
Mm, yeah. Such a rich resonance voice. Yeah.
thank you.
Amazing vocal quality, storytelling ability, and emotional expression. All right. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah. And that's your jazz side. That's the nice, beautiful and medium swing, the beautiful soft side of ballads. We're talking about ballads and
Yeah.
being able to play pretty, but you also collaborate with another band. You guys have released a um a project as well. Van Davis is
Yeah.
one of your projects.
Yeah. Van Davis is a funk rock band that I joined back in, oh goodness, what are we trying to say here? 2004. Um, I was living in Brooklyn. I was doing a lot of music and poetry at the time, and paths crossed with this amazing group of musicians, and we started playing a lot at the 55 bar back when that was a thing.
Mhm.
And playing at this venue called Kenny's that was down the street and around the corner, and we really just started to develop a sound, and a love of funk music and a love of rock music really came together, and also all of us really respecting the world of jazz and its influences. So we started writing some original music,
Okay.
and we wrote our rock ballads, we wrote our funk tunes, we wrote our metal screaming
Mhm.
to the just whatever ideas folks put in the pot, that's what we came together with. And I really, really loved songwriting, um, especially in this context because it felt so wide open.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So Van Davis did a record, presented, this new project, and you shared one of the songs with us, and this song is called Chance.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess this is one of the ones I would call the rock ballad. Because it has that gentleness and that evocative quality, but then there's also just some like get down, scream out, let it happen part of the message, which I really love and enjoy too.
Okay. Well, let's check it out. Chance.
Something in us knows that we can win. We'll even have the chance. To see the sun and morning rain. Something in us knows these hands and feet were meant to dance. Something in us wants to play the lead in life's romance and life's romance. So you wanna be the lead in life's romance. Something in us knows that we have the chance,
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I love that. Have a deep, soulful, and R&B voice. Yeah, beautiful. You really beautifully enhance the intricate funk rhythms driving the song.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Funky mama. Get down. Okay.
Aw.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's I'm a big fan of Rufus,
Oh, yes.
and I immediately I was like, okay, I hear. I mean, I'm not saying that's what it is, but
Sure. Well,
yeah,
it's funny because the first cover that we ever played together as a band was "Tell Me Something Good."
there you go. 100% shocker. I heard it, and then what I liked was you had that nice solo in between. That was like that just kind of took it to the jazz improv side and really
Yeah.
did something nice with it. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm digging
Yeah.
it.
Jake Ezra Schwartz is a guitar player in Van Davis, and you heard him and John Price on bass and Patrick Carmichael on drums. And Jake has such an interesting way of songwriting. It makes it so easy for me to put words to it. As soon as I heard that music, I was like, I know what I want to talk about. I know what I want to say. So it's a mark of good musical writing also.
Yeah. It's a great tune. And I mean, this really showcased your versatility just across the spectrum of, music. It's really, really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, yep. And speaking of versatility, we're gonna take it home right now with
let's go in a completely other direction.
Whole other direction. Which I'm enjoying this because coming from the Caribbean, you change the station is like it's
Right.
it's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So this is TTD. What's TTD?
Yeah. A TDD is a town. And so, coming off the Fela experience, I really became so impacted by the idea of message music and the idea that you could speak to an entire community through a song.
Right.
And I connected with an ensemble, a group of musicians, a band called Zongo Junction, and they were based in Brooklyn. And actually a lot of members of Zongo Junction and I still play together. So we've known each other for quite some time. But Charlie Ferguson, the drummer and band leader, I said, I want to write a song. I want to write a song for Zongo because I'd been performing some songs with them that they had written. And so we wrote it and we got together in somebody's basement and we rehearsed it and then had the opportunity to perform it at Brooklyn Bowl, which was very exciting. And then also for this radio station that invited us to come and do a recording of the song. So yeah, this is that. This is message music. This is Afrobeat inspired. And yeah, this is Tear Them Down, TDD.
TTD, Tear Them Down. Let's check it out.
No
Yeah, that's TTD, Zongo Junction out of Brooklyn. That's great, man. I love that.
Thank you.
Afrobeat at its finest.
Yeah, it was really fun to write for a larger ensemble. You know, that
Yeah.
was really that was really fun. And I, those horn lines would just be going through my mind, and eventually it was like, I have to put this down. I have to make sure we get this out in the world somehow, because they were haunting me.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great horn section. So great
Yeah.
horn section.
Thank you.
Love the extended jams and instrumental solos, jazz, funk.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways, for me, Afrobeat is about getting into the groove and getting all inside it and letting it become the trance that like carries you through the message. So
Great deep vocals as well. Yeah, some great comments. Okay.
yeah, really appreciate those.
Yeah. Well, it's really been a really great evening of music, I must say, from the jazz, easy, where's love, to the funk chants. So, I just want to thank you for joining us on the show. You have a great versatile range as a musician, and the music that you're doing is amazing. So, continued success to you. Thank you for being here. Yes, thank you for being here. So, what's next for Abena? What do you have on the horizon?
Yeah, so we've got some gigs with the quintet, with Stevie D and I doing our jazz thing. We're going to be at La Zangara in Bethel, and then we're going to be at the Side Door in Old Lyme, coming up in November, which is wonderful. And we're really focused on getting our next recording project together, because this first one, Whereas Love, really taught us a lot about our capacity to write and also our love of standards. So I think we'll continue moving in that direction with some original work, and also some tried and true classics, and maybe even, we've been doing some reinventions of songs that people know, but not necessarily in a jazz capacity. So that's very exciting too.
Right. Okay. And how can our audience follow you? Through social media, website?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at Abena KD. So Abena and then KD for Koomson-Davis. And you can also find me at my website, which is abenakoomson-davis.com.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. Give my best to Stevie D.
You guys definitely will.
Do great music. I look forward to having him on the show.
Yes.
And I will be following you as well.
Likewise, Dion. Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure to be here tonight.
You're more than welcome. You take care.
All right.
All right. That's the one and only Miss Abena Koomson-Davis, sharing her music and her story with us. Great music. I mean, you can tell how versatile she is. I'm enjoying this. It's like going to a live show and just getting a nice variety of wonderful music. So please check her out, follow her, support the music. Okay. But I'm asking you to come back and join me next week as we bring another great artist to Sounds of the Diaspora, one and only Mr. Paul Beaudry on bass, as he tells his story and share his music with you guys as well. Okay, with us as well. So thank you. Have a great evening. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next week. All right, take care. Have a good night.